"Drop it where it belongs," a sharp voice snapped. The bike clattered into the metal bin, a crash that echoed down the quiet street. A woman stood over it, arms crossed, eyes cold, satisfied. Across the driveway, a young boy froze, his sneakers scuffing the pavement, his pride falling with the sound of bent spokes. She thought he was nobody, just another kid who didn't belong. But in 7 minutes, the truth about his family would turn her smug smile into shock. Have you ever been judged before they even knew who you were? Tell us in the comments. Before we begin, hit subscribe. It's appreciated. It was a bright Saturday morning in a quiet suburban neighborhood where everything seemed picture perfect. 11-year-old Malik pedaled his favorite red bike down the tree-lined street, the same route he'd taken every weekend since school let out. His laughter echoed off the trimmed hedges as the sun warmed the pavement. To him, this neighborhood was just home, a place of friendly nods, summer smells of fresh-cut grass, and the steady hum of sprinklers. His dad, Marcus, a calm and thoughtful man, was finishing some paperwork inside their cozy house at the end of the block. Marcus had lived here for years, a respected figure in the community, though many neighbors only knew him as the quiet man who left early and returned late. He liked it that way. No need for titles, no need for introductions beyond a friendly wave. Malik coasted to a stop near a corner lot, drawn by a stray basketball rolling across the driveway. He hopped off, leaving his bike carefully propped near the curb. A simple moment of kindness, just a kid picking up a ball so it wouldn't roll into the street. But behind the curtains of the cream-colored house, a pair of watchful eyes narrowed. From inside, Karen had been sipping her coffee, scanning the street like a hawk. To her, Malik wasn't a friendly neighbor's child. He was a stranger who didn't belong. Her heart raced with indignation as she convinced herself she was protecting the neighborhood from something she couldn't even name. Malik returned the basketball and turned back toward his bike. Only it wasn't where he left it. Confusion flickered across his face as he searched the curb. That small moment of normalcy, the smell of grass, the carefree morning, was about to shatter. What would you do if you saw someone touch something precious to you while you weren't looking? Malik's breath caught when he spotted the flash of red behind the trash bins. His bike, his birthday gift from Dad, was wedged sideways. The front wheel bent where it had been slammed against the metal. A sharp clatter cut the quiet morning. Karen stood at the edge of her driveway, arms folded, lips pressed into a thin line. "That doesn't belong here," she said, her voice like a door slamming. Malik's stomach tightened. He stepped forward, words caught in his throat. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a message. Karen's eyes swept over him, cold and dismissive. "People need to keep their things in their own neighborhood," she muttered, loud enough for the nearby windows to catch. A curtain twitched. Someone else was watching, but no one came outside. Malik reached for the bike, but Karen stepped closer, blocking his path. "Leave it," she snapped. "The trash is where it should stay." His chest burned. He was just a kid, but the weight of her words, of everything they implied, pressed down like a storm. He thought of Dad at home, papers spread across the desk, unaware of the scene unfolding just a few doors away. Minutes stretched. Neighbors peeked through blinds. No one helped. Malik's hands trembled as he tried to lift the bike, the wheels squealing against the bin. Karen stood, unyielding, her shadow spilling across the pavement. He wanted to run, but something inside him wouldn't move. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was the sting of being treated like an intruder in his own neighborhood. From down the street, a car door slammed. Footsteps approached, measured, confident. A voice called his name, steady as a drumbeat. Karen's posture shifted, the first flicker of doubt in her eyes. She turned, expecting another child, maybe a worried parent. What she didn't know was that Malik's father was no ordinary neighbor coming to fetch his son. The next few moments would flip the balance of power she thought she owned. "What do you think happens when someone finally steps in?" Marcus's calm voice cut through the tense silence. "Malik." Just his son's name, but it carried a weight that made the air feel different. He walked toward them in measured strides, suit jacket still on from the morning meeting he'd left early. His presence filled the street, quiet but commanding. Karen blinked, her confidence wobbling. "Is this your child?" she asked, her words clipped, her chin tilting upward as if to reclaim authority. Marcus's eyes fell on the bent wheel, the bike half crushed in the bin. He didn't raise his voice. "Why is my son's property in the trash?" Karen shifted her stance. "He left it on my lawn," she said quickly. "This neighborhood has rules. We don't allow—" Marcus stepped closer, not aggressive but steady, the way a storm moves before anyone notices the clouds. "Rules," he repeated, the words soft but edged like glass. Neighbors edged out of doorways now, curiosity pulling them into the open. A couple whispered near the sidewalk, their eyes flicking between the boy, the woman, and the man who now stood taller than the tension itself. Marcus reached into his pocket and withdrew a small leather case. He opened it with a quiet click. The polished badge inside caught the morning light, emblem of the county court, the seal unmistakable. "Judge Marcus Thompson," he said evenly. "This is my son, and this is our neighborhood." The words landed heavier than a shout. Karen's breath hitched. The color drained from her face as murmurs rippled through the growing circle of onlookers. For a moment, the only sound was the creak of the bent bike wheel as Malik pulled it free. Karen stumbled over a reply, but none came. Her earlier certainty melted into a silence that exposed everything. Marcus met her eyes, his voice still low. "Teach your children that every neighbor belongs here. Start with yourself." The street held its breath, the imbalance of power reversed in an instant. What would you predict happens next? Apology, excuses, or something else entirely? Karen's face crumpled as if the morning sun itself had turned harsh. The neighbors, once hidden behind curtains, now stood in full view, phones lowered, eyes fixed on her. The silence pressed in until every heartbeat seemed to echo. Marcus crouched beside Malik, checking the bent wheel with gentle hands. "We'll fix it," he said quietly, his presence a shield. Malik nodded, pride steadied by the calm certainty in his father's voice. Karen stepped back, the stiffness in her posture collapsing. I didn't know," she whispered, words barely audible. But the excuses she tried to form never found life. The badge in Marcus's hand, the unwavering gaze of a man who carried both authority and dignity, left no room for defense. Marcus rose, straightening to his full height. "You don't need to know a title to know respect," he said, his words deliberate. "You just need to see a child and treat him like one." The crowd murmured in agreement, a quiet chorus of reckoning. Karen's eyes darted from face to face, finding no ally, only the reflection of her own actions. A single tear slipped down her cheek, but Marcus offered no gloating smile, only a steady silence that made the lesson unavoidable. Malik rolled his bike toward home, the squeak of the damaged wheel a reminder that some wounds take time to repair. Neighbors shifted uncomfortably, some offering soft apologies to Marcus and Malik as they passed. Back inside their house, Marcus set the badge on the counter and turned to his son. "People will judge," he said simply. "But who we are isn't defined by their eyes." Malik nodded, absorbing a truth that would guide him far beyond this street. This moment wasn't just about one boy, one woman, or one neighborhood. It was a mirror held to a wider world where respect is too often decided by skin color or status. How many times must dignity be proved before it's simply accepted? Show some love with a like and subscribe to stay inspired.